Hey, good evening. Thank you for joining us on the Thursday Night Hockey Show. I'm Dave Valente. Travis Rednick is possibly on his way home. He had a late customer tonight, so customers take precedence and won't begrudge him a sale. So um, uh, right now, it's just me. So uh, this is the penultimate show of the season, at least the hockey season. We'll probably do a draft show the night of the NHL draft. I know Travis has got his Coyotes have 3 picks, my Sabres have 3 picks, so, plenty to talk about that night. But for the season, next week is gonna be our final show because no matter what happens in the series will be over no later than Tuesday, um, but it could be over as soon as tomorrow night. So, um, uh, could have been over last night if Colorado had taken care of both games in Tampa, but, they got the big win last night to put them up 3 games to 1 in the series. Nazem Kadri, good on that dude, man. He broke his thumb. Bad check by Evander Kane. It was game 3, I believe, of the conference finals. Kadri, he was often criticized in both Toronto and last year in Colorado. A lot of people believe that his suspension in round one is what cost them in the series against the Vegas Golden Knights in round two, and they were never able to recover, losing that second line center position. Uh, but he was injured in the check by Evander Kane in Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals, and is had surgery on his thumb, and was able to come back. And he made a fantastic move to score that goal. He didn't look like a guy who had an injured thumb last night. He had several good chances, several decent shots on goal, and was able to get the winner. About halfway through that overtime period. Um, a little bit of controversy on the goal in overtime. John Cooper, the head coach of the Tampa Bay Lightning, was not pleased. It was a very interesting press conference that he had after the game was over. He said he wouldn't really talk too much about it. Like he was just alluding to, when you watch it, you'll see what's going on, and he thought that they should have still been playing at that point. I will tell you, um, I do see his point about the too many men on the ice. At one point in the play, the player was way too far away from the bench to be considered leaving the ice. Generally, the linesman will give you like a 5 foot radius from the bench to be considered retiring from the ice and another player coming on, as long as that player coming on or the player coming off doesn't play the puck, um, and sometimes even touch the puck. A lot of times, if a team sees a team changing, they'll try and fire the puck in the direction of the changing players, hoping to hit one and generate a call. And it's worked in some instances. But in this case, by the time the play really matured, it was a missed call. But by the time the play really matured, McKinnon was stepping off of the ice when the goal was scored, and really didn't have any impact in the play. And I will say, of all the complaints, I think the Tampa really didn't have a complaint about losing that game in overtime. Um, Especially that overtime period, Colorado brought it from beginning to end. Um, they they held the puck. They had better chances. They held the puck in the zone much more. I can't really recall a point in the overtime period where the Tampa had any decent zone time. So it was basically 10 minutes of hell for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They were holding on, and eventually Nazem Kadri on a nice breakout pass got in and scored on Vasilevsky with just a beautiful shot. Caught him under the arm and up into the top of the net. There was some question as to if he had actually scored. I thought he had scored when he made that move, but I had lost sight of the puck, and it went under the net and kind of hooked under the where the net goes over the back bar, and kind of got hooked up in there before the referees started pointing that it was a goal. So a wonderful game. 3-2. You can't complain either way about the outcome of that game. Well played. So there have been two really well played games. Game 1, Game 4 were really well played. Both of them won in overtime by Colorado, and then two. Gee, that's really the only way you can describe the other two games. 7-0 trouncing by Colorado at home in Game 2, and then Tampa kind of returning the favor in Game 3 with a 6-2 win. Um, uh, I will say in this entire series, Colorado has not looked out of place, and at times Tampa has, which is why I feel good about my prediction of them winning in 6. I honestly think that this probably gets done tomorrow night in Colorado. If it goes back to Tampa, we're going 7, and because I think Tampa would take care of business on home ice, but I still think that Colorado's the better team in this Stanley Cup final. Plus, Tampa is really starting. It's starting to be a war of attrition there on the ice. We saw Eric Chernak go down. Oh, guess who just showed up? The man, the myth, the legend, Team Torts, Travis Rednick.
What's up?
Not much, man.
It's still gonna work.
Yeah, it's all good.
Got them
Customers take precedence.
Clients.
So I was just talking about if this game, let's say Tampa somehow manages to beat Colorado in Colorado on Friday night.
Doesn't matter.
This series is definitely going 7. I think Tampa takes care of business at home in Game 6, but I still think that overall Colorado is the better team in this series, and we're starting to see some wear and tear on Tampa, where you saw Eric Chernak go down with a looks like, I mean, he took a puck to just above the knee. I don't know what it did. Uh, Braden Point is back out again. They say he won't be back until Game 6 at the earliest. Colorado or Tampa's starting to feel the pressure and feel the pain. But
fold.
Yeah, I mean they may. I mean I can't blame them if they do.
No, they had a good run.
Yeah, they've had a fantastic run. I don't think it takes anything away from winning 2 Stanley Cups in a row.
How about the return of Kadri?
Yeah, that goal, man. That goal was amazing.
Yeah, that was a killer, dude.
For a guy that's just had thumb surgery, and I know like I think Cogliano has a finger issue, and with your regular fingers, what they'll do is they'll tape them together, and then they have like a special glove where the fingers are in the same finger hole in the glove,
right?
And it provides more support. But for a thumb, that's independent. You can't
that sucker's just out there.
Yeah, you can't tie it to and you need the thumb to grip your stick.
Yeah, I mean this man had surgical thumb.
Yeah, he's got the bionic thumb. They put him together. Yeah. Whenever he shoots, he goes
building from scrap parts.
Yeah, it was a fantastic goal. It was a fantastic game. So we've had 2 good games, 2 blowouts. I do think Colorado takes care of business tomorrow night. Is it a 7-0 score? I doubt it, but I don't know if they score quickly and do like they did in Game 2, then yeah, it could get out of hand pretty quickly.
Oh yeah.
The one question I have about Colorado though is, I mean, yeah, I know he scored last night, first goal of the series, but what's up with Nathan McKinnon? Because I mean, that goal was kind of a fluky goal that just bounced off his skate as he was going in front of the net.
It counts, man. I mean, that guy's been going full speed for 6 months. Like
yeah, but he's been making like some serious rookie mistakes. Like he had a bad, just an awful turnover. Thought he could skate past everyone on Tampa and got stripped of the puck and gave up gilt edge chants in the first period that Darcy Kemper. I mean, everyone criticized him after the Game 3 loss, but if it wasn't for Kemper after that first period, they would have been sunk.
Yeah, I think that Kemper needs to get a little bit more credit. He didn't come in as a top-notch goaltender into Colorado. Like
No, and he has
he's
his moments.
he's a mid-rate goaltender that is playing, literally the highest level of hockey that you could ever aspire to.
Yeah.
For one of the best teams in the highest level of hockey. Like he got purchased by Colorado under the pretext that everybody knows how well he performs. You can't hold it against the guy that he's not performing to the standard of a team that is well beyond his skill level.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't sign there. He was traded there. So they knew what they were getting into. I don't think you can fault him or Colorado. Colorado needed a goalie. Kemper needed a job. So
yeah. But I mean, heck of a bounce back performance. Vasilevsky, I can't fault him for last night's game. And those were some tremendous goals that they got in on off of him. The two regulation goals were bounce ins, one off of Cogliano off his foot and went over his shoulder, and then the power play goal that bounced off of McKinnon's foot as he was kind of like spinning around in front of the net, like he had no control over that one, and then just a legendary goal by Nazem Kadri in overtime beat them, but. Yeah, I do think that Friday night we see the cup awarded.
yeah, I think it's over.
Yeah, that's a hard loss to come back from, but we do know that Tampa's a two-time champion. I don't know that they laid down all that much in this game, but I will not fault them if they do. So let's see. I did talk a little bit about the. Did you see how Cooper was complaining about the game-winning goal? He said that it was too many men on the ice. Well, he didn't say it. He intimated it after the play. After the game was over, the press looked at it and said, "Oh, there was too many men on the ice." I don't know. I mean, too many men on the ice. There's always that leeway of within 5 feet of the bench, you're not considered on the ice. Earlier in the play, before they got into the zone, I think they had much better case for too many men on the ice. But once it's missed, it's missed. You can't review it. It's over. And really, the entire overtime session was, just a Colorado beatdown. I mean, I don't think Tampa had much of the puck at all in that early part of that 10 minutes of the overtime session.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's they're grasping at straws here, trying to find anything that can get this call back, and it's just sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Tampa lost this game.
Yep, absolutely.
Good, bad, or ugly. That's just what it is.
Yeah. Actually, we've got. Bring it up. The news is broken.
What broke? What happened?
It's not really actually big broken news, but
Camel Carter?
No. Philip Forsberg was offered an 8-year deal by the Nashville Predators today.
Yeah, it seems like a terrible deal for Nashville.
Well, I didn't see the term on it, like the money that's attached to it.
It'd have to be pretty low. I don't know why you would want him for 8 more years. He's got maybe 3 left in him.
Yeah, he's. I don't think it's going to be anything less than 10.
Yeah, he's old.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't go 8 years on him, but apparently that's the only thing he'll sign, and that's probably the only thing he'll sign with Nashville. Like he's ready to go. July 13th is free agency. He's that close right now. I don't think he turns it around and says, I'm going to stay in Nashville. I think he's so close right now. He's like, yeah, I might still sign in Nashville, but I want to see what other teams offer me and who offers. So
I don't know what Detroit.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd take a future on that. I would actually take a bet on that.
Yeah, because you got Detroit's going to have cap space,
and Detroit needs veteran presence bad. So does LA, really. I mean,
yeah, Buffalo. Well, yeah, LA's a little closer to the cap. Buffalo's going to need.
they're closer to the cap, but if they can get him at a good low contract for 4 years instead of a mid-rate contract for 8, and he gets a chance at playing on a team that actually
has a
is
chance.
going to have serious potential this year.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it'd be a fool not to take that.
Yeah. He's not the only guy that's going to be testing the free agent market. It looks like we've got Gino Malkin and Chris Letang are going to test. And that should be an interesting free agent market for those
Malkin
two
to
players.
Philly.
Oh man, I don't know how a player that plays and it's happened. There, Mark Recchi did it. How you
Bobby Orr going to Chicago.
Yeah, or Chris Chelios did same thing where
Yeah.
he shot a longtime Blackhawk and went to Detroit. Uh, it always confounds me that a player will go from one team to another. Just a hated
I mean,
rival.
for us, it's a matter of passion. For them, it's a matter of paycheck.
Yeah.
It can be kind of hard to mix those lines and forget that. But,
Yep.
Whenever we're talking millions of dollars, I don't think that I have that much allegiance to any sports team.
Yeah. Well, I'd be hard pressed to ever play for the Leafs.
Dude, if the Leafs offered me, $5 million a year to come drive their Zamboni, I'm getting a Leaf tattoo on my chest.
Too.
Yeah, right. No, man. I mean, I'll get a Leafs tattoo right here. And I'll even put Stanley Cup champion under it.
Oh. Not recent, though.
Yeah, I don't have to put the year. It's still true.
Yeah. Let's see. Surprising coaching news out of Florida. The Panthers replaced Andrew Brunette with Paul Maurice, former Jets coach, Coyote.
Downgrade. Big downgrade.
Yeah, I thought
I'm not a
this
fan of
was
this.
strange. I thought keep Brunette. He did fine. Yeah, they flamed out in the playoffs, but he actually got them their first series win in 26 years. There was no reason to get rid of Andrew Brunette. There's no word on what's going to become of Andrew Brunette. He's still on the staff, but Maurice is there. If he steps back and becomes an assistant, or I guess he could go for a head coaching gig, but those are starting to dry up now. And you still have several high-profile coaches still out there looking for jobs and kind of holding up the market. So, I don't like this move. Maurice left Winnipeg almost citing kind of being burnt out, and I guess being in Winnipeg for that many years, I guess you could get burned out of that one place.
Yeah, it happened to anybody.
Yeah, I mean, getting burned out.
I couldn't live in Winnipeg for 3 years.
Again, money.
Ohio, but Canada.
Ohio, but snowier.
Well, snowier.
Yeah. Not the only coach to be named this week. Edmonton has removed the interim tag from Jay Woodcroft, which I think is a good move. Woodcroft really turned around the season. He came in when the Edmonton Oilers were sliding, had got out to a really good start, and then just slid, and they were in the middle of the pack, actually outside of the playoffs when they fired their coach and brought in Woodcroft. And around the same time, they signed Evander Kane, and everything kind of came together at that point. And they went on a nice run and finished second in the Pacific Division, and made a nice run to the conference finals where they ran into the Colorado Avalanche, which they got swept out of the conference finals, but still.
Yeah, I mean, Colorado will punch anybody's ticket right now.
Yeah. Really, his first offseason is going to be interesting. They're going to have to figure out what they're going to do with Evander Kane. Are they going to be able to afford him? They also
less can you afford him, more can you afford his bar tab.
Yeah. Or lawyer tab, whatever tab. Any of his tabs. Gambling tab. Yeah. Also, they got to figure out what to do in goal. Mike Smith is not the short or long term solution in nets for the Oilers, and neither is Koskinen. So,
I would really like to see Evander Kane go to Vegas.
oh god,
Um, maybe not the team.
oh, I'd like to
Just
hang
in
out with
general.
Evander Kane in Vegas. That would
Yeah,
be a
for sure, dude.
ball.
He's like the knockoff Dennis Rodman now.
Less wedding dresses, but yeah,
So far,
um, the man needs money.
the man likes
He'll
money.
probably do a lot of things for money at this point. Let's see. The other head coaching. This one I hate. Pete DeBoer was named the head coach of the Dallas Stars. Um, I hate this for the young core. He's not good with young players. I hate this for Jake Ottinger, who's really emerged as a kind of a emerging top flight goaltender with the Dallas Stars run to the playoffs and in that first round where they almost took out Calgary. Um, because DeBoer has a reputation of not either not getting along with the goaltenders or just being a goaltender killer to begin with. And Ottinger's right there on the cusp, and I think a bad coach can set him back several years or ruin his career altogether. Um, but he is a restricted free agent this summer. He hasn't signed yet, and um, I'm wondering if he's hoping for a tender from a team to see if he can get out of Dallas. Because I would not be happy if I was him.
No,
It's going to be bad enough for guys like Robertson and Heiskanen and Big D. Um, you know, he might have some short term success like he's had everywhere he's gone, like San Jose and New Jersey and first season in Vegas, but it doesn't last with Pete DeBoer. And the Western Conference is getting a whole lot more competitive, and Dallas barely squeaked into the playoffs this year. So I don't like this mix. Let's see. Do you know what an NFT is, man?
uh, yeah, yeah, it's Beanie Babies for middle-aged white men.
Pretty much, yeah. Um, I have no idea what an NFT is, but
It's weird
fungible
if you know
tokens.
as much as you do about crypto and stuff.
I really don't know crypto all that well either. Uh, I just know that it loses money. I've got a crypto wallet that's
You're a libertarian. You have to know crypto.
yeah, that's not my thing. Uh, a crypto wallet. I've got a few coins, and they're all losing money. They're all just getting fisted right now.
Yeah, so that's something I brought up last week. I do follow the crypto market to a mild level. Not, I don't know anything about it other than the names of some of the coins, and like I
Mhm.
watch them fall in value constantly because it's kind of funny at this point.
Yeah,
It was a terrible idea to begin with.
yeah. I mean, a
It
lot
was
of
a
people.
good bad idea. It was
Well,
like a really good scam. Anyway, um, the crypto coin or cryptocoin.com,
yeah,
crypto.com. Yeah,
yeah. Crypto
the
coin.
the arena in LA, formerly the Staples Center,
Yeah.
that's going to get renamed real quick.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, they've had it for what, a year? I think they renamed it last year.
So I mean,
COVID
libertarians
was the
know.
height of crypto, and I guess their best thought was, "Hey, this is going to last forever. Let's just go buy, a stadium in Los Angeles." So I guess we'll be looking for the In and Out Arena um, in downtown LA at the former Staples Center. Maybe Office Depot will buy them out as a joke. I don't.
Well, so cryptocoin.com or crypto.com, whatever that is, um, was started by a bunch of professional athletes. And, of course, as libertarians are all about our conspiracy theories, but apparently a lot of people are saying that these athletes started this because they got really heavily invested in crypto coins and they wanted to get rid of them. And they started this business to hype it up. So people would buy the crypto coins out of
Dude,
their
that's a
possession.
solid idea.
It is a solid idea. It makes sense to me, but crypto. We'll get off this in a second because crypto is boring as shit. But uh, people who make fun of fiat currencies, and you should make fun of fiat currencies, but what never been able to tell me the value of, like, what is backing the value of crypto other than computers. um, I
Isn't
don't,
it
I don't,
weird that the people that invested the most in crypto are the same ones that were prepping for an EMP like 2 years ago?
yeah.
It's pretty fad oriented there, bud.
Yeah. So anyway, the NHL, NHLPA, and the NHL Alumni Association have announced a deal with digital collectible marketplace called Sweet. Dude, Sweet.
Already
Um,
not starting off well.
yeah. To be their official NFT partner.
Nope,
Like I said, I'm
don't
not
like
sure
this.
what NFT is, but I do like saying fungible because it sounds dirty.
That is absolutely true.
Yeah.
Totally.
Fungible sounds like a snack you would find in underwear.
Fungible sounds like a charge.
Like a police charge, like a law and order charge.
Yeah, it sounds like you've got malicious,
Malicious
right?
fungible intent.
No, fungible intent. He had fungible in like that just sounds like a 15 to life right there.
Oh, wow. Making it sound
Fungibility.
even better. Let's see. Austin Matthews won the Hart and Lindsay awards as MVP, according to the media on the Hart side, the players on the Lindsay side. This also goes along with his Rocket Award win. He did spend some time after winning the awards lamenting the early exits for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Which ones?
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Suck.
he was like, they were pointing out that a few short weeks ago, he was last in Tampa with a chance to advance past the first round with a Game 6 win in Tampa. They lost, of course, and they lost Game 7, as they always do in the first round. Um, how long? Like they're going to give it another go this year. Kyle Dubas is back. Shanahan's back. Um, I'm not going to place too much blame on Sheldon Keefe. Um,
That's okay. I'll do it for you. Um,
how long does this last? Like,
dude, it's. I guess what matters is they're still selling jerseys, you're still selling tickets, and Austin Matthews game you sticks are still worth $2,000. You
well,
know,
sure.
the priorities are in line here. I mean, it's always going to be about money first, but yeah, it's not looking good for a rebuild in Toronto because they have an unrebuildable team. I mean, they have a stellar team. Nobody can deny the fact that the talent's there in uh, Toronto. It's just
The talent's
they
there. There's that
the
that
talent's
extra.
there, but there's no connect.
Well, and there's no extra gear. Like they're going to be fantastic in the regular season next year. Although if they get off to a slow start, perhaps they do make that midseason change at coach and GM. Um, but I just don't see. I don't see that extra gear that will get them past a playoff round.
I do actually believe in the curse of Toronto. And I
The cur-
think that it's in their
Punch Imlach,
heads, and that's the problem.
the curse
They,
of Punch Imlach. Yep.
yeah, I mean, they suck because they suck. I don't know any other team that can say that. Like, the worst thing about Toronto is the fact that they're Toronto. And it's so weird because, like, no, that doesn't make sense. It's not supposed to. That's just how it works there for some reason.
Yeah, I don't get it at all. I mean, there's no reason a team that has that much fan support, has that much money, has that
The team's killer. They just suck.
it's but they've gone. I mean, 1967 is what 52 years,
It's a lifetime ago.
54 years. I'm sorry, 54 years since they won the cup. They haven't won a cup since the NHL expanded. So The last time they won a cup, they had a 1 in 6 chance of winning the cup.
Yeah.
Since they've started adding teams, they've gotten to one conference final, and they lost to Los Angeles in 92, 93.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing that they're as bad as they are because on paper they're phenomenal.
Yeah.
But whenever you put it into practice, I mean, they're just a trash team.
Well, it's again, regular season's fine. It's you got to hit that extra gear.
There are
Like,
more people that aren't fans of Toronto. I'm counting fans of each team out of it.
yeah.
But in the past 3 years, there have been more people who thought that Arizona would win a cup than Toronto.
Yeah, I don't foresee that team as currently built. People are saying, "Oh, they need to move on from their goaltenders."
It's not their goaltender's fault. They
Yeah,
they completely lack back end support. I mean, they have no defense that's of any accountability.
yeah.
Their forwards are absolute superstars. Problem being, they have no actual communication. You know, I mean, it's an all star team, which
I
is
would
the
say
weirdest thing ever. That it
it's almost Edmonton East, but Edmonton made the conference finals this year. They've won
it's
playoff series
yeah,
last year.
it's the Harlem Globetrotters. If the other team they were playing was supposed to actually play,
Yeah,
it's
yeah. I don't,
weird. I mean, I'm living it up right now watching because it's so pathetic that so
as a
much
Buffalo
talent can
Sabres,
perform so poorly. But
yeah, as a Buffalo Sabres fan, I mean, I'm telling you, there's nothing better than watching the Leafs fall on their face. I mean, as bad as the last 11 seasons have gone, knowing that Toronto is golfing within 7 games of the end of the regular season has not eased the pain, but it's made it there. Like there would be nothing worse than going through 11 seasons of the Sabres not making the playoffs and then watching Toronto win 3 Stanley Cups. That would have been awful.
there's not a team in the league that I don't have more faith in or that I have less faith in than Toronto. And I think that I've figured out the reason. I think the reason is we have seen Toronto perform to their maximum capabilities.
Yeah.
Not like, Toronto's halfway, like whenever St. Louis won the cup in 2018 and nobody expected them to come from literally all the way behind,
Yeah.
like we didn't see everything that St. Louis had. And I think everybody knew that. I mean, they sucked, but like we knew there was more potential there. We've seen all the potential in Toronto fire on all cylinders together to the highest ability that it has, and it crashed. So, I think that that's just, I think that's the problem. I mean, it's the best team in the league that could never win anything.
Well, and it's sad because there are teams that are talented that get to the playoffs and will win a couple rounds and learn how to win. Like Colorado has learned how to win.
Yeah, Toronto,
They've had some,
you can track their progress.
yeah.
You know,
But and I think the same arc is going to go for the Los Angeles Kings. They learned how to get into the playoffs this year. Next year they're going to learn how to win a round or two, and then they're going to progress until they are really challenging for the cup. I don't see that with Toronto because there is not that. I mean, they've been to the playoffs how many years in a row? They flamed out in the first round how many years in a row?
all of them.
And they don't seem to learn that when you get to the playoffs, you've got to engage that extra gear. You've got to hit everything. You've got to defend. You've got to, maybe you
When was
shake
the last time Toronto didn't make the playoffs?
uh 20 I want to say 2016.
That's right. There were a few points out. I remember that. But for all intents and purposes, Toronto's made the playoffs every year since the 80s.
Well, no, they had some rough years. I mean
They had the early 2000s, but still, it was only like a 2 or 3 year stretch.
yeah.
I'd say Toronto has more playoff appearances than any other team in the NHL. If you
Uh,
just go by making the playoffs, not by
at least since
actual games played.
67, I would say one of the teams that you probably point to is actually St. Louis. Had like a 24-year consecutive playoff run. They never did anything with those 24 years, but
I guess Montreal will be up there too.
Yeah, Montreal will be up there too. But yeah, I mean, Toronto's got the success to get in the playoffs. They got a team that gets into the playoffs. It's just that extra gear to get past some rounds of the playoffs. They just lack it, and they're not learning that lesson because it's been presented to them several times over now, and they have not learned it. So, yeah, Toronto. You know,
Toronto.
I just can't wait till my Sabres start getting the playoffs. That
Come on, that was funny.
yes, it was good.
That,
It was
geez,
good.
give me a
Toronto.
pity laugh or something. Don't embarrass me in front of the public. This is
Uh,
on camera.
Sorry, man. I hasn't been digested when that hit. I was like,
Yeah.
let's see. Igor Shesterkin won the Vezina Trophy. That wasn't a surprise. A lot of people picked him to win the trophy. Although I think it was closer than a lot of people thought. I think who finished second in that voting? Vasilevsky finished a lot closer than was thought. Um, but Shesterkin wins his first. He credits being under the watchful eye of Henrik Lundqvist all those years, the first few years of his career. So, um, first of a few, I think, for Shesterkin.
That's another team that's moving its way up quickly.
Yeah.
I think that the Rags right now are in the same position as Colorado was 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you make the conference finals, you're there. The next step is to make the final, win the finals, win the cup. That's really all you've got left to do. And they've got the resources. They've got the team right now. I think it was the fact that this was their first deep run, and they got scared in game 3 of that series. Like they got up 2-0. They should have just put the foot on the gas. They would have had a 3-0 lead on Tampa, winning that game at home, or winning that game in Tampa with a chance to close them out. And they just let off. And Tampa came back and won that game, and the rest was history in that series. Yeah, the Rangers did have some injury issues, but they got to the conference finals. They won a couple games. I would not be surprised to see them, especially if Tampa loses the Stanley Cup Finals, kind of be a maybe top 2 team in the market for 2023's Stanley Cup finalist, at least from the Eastern Conference. Again, off season we see what they're able to add with a flat cap. I don't know. I'm not really sure what their free agent situation looks like. So I don't know if they're going to lose any money or they got to make some trades to bring some folks in. Cale Makar won the Norris Trophy, his first. He was nominee last year. I thought he was going to win last year.
I thought he was. I can't understand how he didn't.
Well, it's a media award, and Adam Fox. I don't know why. I mean, Adam Fox is a tremendously talented defenseman. I still don't think he was worthy of the Norris last season.
No, not by any standards. I mean,
he did a lot of things, young defensemen have not done, but so is Cale Makar. And I think Cale Makar's got a much higher top end than Adam Fox. And should have won it last year, but it's his first Vezina, or not Vezina, but Norris Trophy. And I think that's going to be a first of many for Makar heading forward. So
yeah, baby Bobby.
But he might have competition in the Calder winner, Moritz Seider, Mo Seider out of Detroit. He beat. This was kind of a controversial one too. He beat Trevor Zegers of Anaheim in the voting. It was pretty handily that he won the voting. But a lot of people thought that Zegers should have won the Calder Trophy because of the exciting goals he scored or set up during the season. Of course, he had that flip play behind the net in Buffalo. he had a really good season. I'm not going to take anything away from Zegras. I think he's going to be a superstar in the league. Um,
I don't know if he's going to hit McCarr level, but
no, no,
he's definitely not going to be a flake. I mean, he's totally a performer. Like, you got to give him credit where credit's due. It's just whether or not I think that he's going to actually end up being a Norris winner for any more than a year or two. I kind of doubt it.
yeah, yeah. Sider's got some offensive jam. Uh, I think he single handedly beat Buffalo a couple times this season in overtime, just taking the puck to the net. And in fact, his first goal in the NHL, he did this just power move right to the net and scored in overtime. Um, I'm interested to see how he goes. He was a risky selection that Eiserman made when he first got to, or no, not Eiserman. Was it Eiserman's first pick? Yeah, it was when he got back to Detroit as the GM, and uh, has really panned out. So we'll see how his career progresses. The other award that was given was to the it's called the EJ Mcguire Award of Excellence,
Which
and it's
we had never heard of.
yeah, we had never heard of. It's actually been given since like 2013 or something. Um, but it's to the draft year prospect who shows the most commitment to and excellence through strength of character, competitiveness, and athleticism. Um, this kid is not like a top flight. Well, he's going to be a maybe second, third round pick, at least by the Central Scouting Bureau and all this stuff. Um, but what he's doing, I watched some of his highlights today. He's with the United States National Team Development Program, and not sure which college he's committed to, but he's a 5'8" defenseman. He's a short guy, and he's fearless. Like he'll get into the dirty areas, and he plays really good defense, but he's got some offensive jam to him, and I'm sure it's because you don't see a whole lot of 5'8" defensemen outside of Pee Wee. Like
I was 5'8" at 13,
I'm 5'8"
12.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
12, 13 years old. I was already 5'8". By the time I was 14, I was wearing a size 15 shoe.
good lord. Yeah, I stopped growing at 5'8", so
We
that's
can't
where I'm
all
at.
we can't all get lucky on height, man. I mean, I was working in a basement yesterday, wishing I was 5'8". So
It's all about perspective, man. There's
it's
one more,
situational.
yeah. So there's one more award that's to be given that's going to be at the draft. It's the GM of the year. There's a lot of complaints about this award because um, for the last few years that they've given this award, they end up picking like three of the four GMs that are in the conference finals. It's picked by the GMs, and it's unlike all the other awards. They do the selection after two rounds of playoffs, so they know who's in the conference finals. So there's been kind of a push to like, hey, let's get this out of the hands of the GMs. Let's media or somebody else pick the winners of the category and go more along the lines of who built the best team during the regular season.
That'd be a fun player pick.
Yeah, player pick would be a good one. Uh, but the three candidates for it are Julian Breezewell of the Tampa Bay Lightning, Chris Drury of the New York Rangers, and Joe Sakic of the Colorado Avalanche. Now, all three have done tremendous jobs building their teams. Drury, a lot of the legwork was done by John Davidson, and uh, before the whole meltdown at the end of the season last season when uh, was it Ovechkin that ragdolled? No, it was Tom Wilson who ragdolled. Uh,
Hey, Tom Wilson.
yeah, your favorite player, but it caused Drury to start bringing in some of the tough guys like Bryant Reeves and they got Andrew Kopp at the trade deadline, and so he did build quite a good team going into the playoffs. But I think out of this team, I mean, you can't go wrong with saying it's Joe Sakic. That's the best team that's been put together.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that Sakic's the history of Sakic should play into this. You know what I mean?
I mean, he should win GM of the year every year just based on that Devin Taves trade.
Yeah,
your top pairing defenseman you got from the Islanders for 2 second-round picks. That was just highway robbery. But anyway, man, got anything else for the week? Any broken news?
I think it pretty well does us. There's not a lot to talk about whenever you've gotten to the cup, except for the cup. So
yeah,
I guess next week will be our last of.
This was the penultimate show of the season.
Yep, last of the year.
I am going to be doing the draft show. You're welcome to join because your Coyotes have 3 picks that night as well.
Yes.
So we'll have 6 out of the 32 picks will be one of our teams, and unless we see some trades, but hopefully not. But yeah, so July 7th is the NHL draft, or at least the first round of the NHL draft. I'll do a live show for that. But next week is our final show of the season. We'll be talking about our Stanley Cup champion. No matter what happens, the playoffs will be over by the time we air next week. So tomorrow night's Game 5. Game 6 is on Sunday. Game 7 would be on Tuesday. So everything will be done by Tuesday at the latest. But
yeah, we're going to see
probably
Avalanche's first cup since Darcy Tucker played for him.
Oh, I forgot that.
Mm-hmm.
At least he won a cup with Colorado. If he won a cup with Toronto, that just make me even saltier. I hated Tucker.
I love Tucker.
I called him Mother Tucker.
Yeah, Tucker's probably my favorite player of all time.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Tucker's awesome.
Tucker, to me, back in the day when he played for Toronto, is like Wilson to you.
Okay, who's worse, Tucker or Sean Avery?
Tucker.
Seriously?
Sean Avery never really antagonized the Sabres.
I love Tucker.
Yeah, Tucker antagonized the Sabres. And he didn't fight. Like Ty Domi, who I'm not a fan of, although he's a lot better now that he's retired. He fought. Like I give him that respect.
He lost a lot, but he fought a lot. So
yeah, I mean, he took his lumps from Ray, and that's cool. But yeah, I hadn't even thought of Darcy Tucker in like 10 years. Thanks for opening the old wounds, man.
Hey, Darcy. Hey, Darcy.
Hey, Darcy.
Darcy, come here. Thwack.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us, and we will talk to everyone on the season finale of the Thursday Night Hockey Show. Season finale.
And don't forget, folks, I hate Tom Wilson.
He hates Tom Wilson. And
I hate Tom Wilson.
Have your Tom Wilson spayed and neutered.
Please. I wish Bob Barker was still around so I could just give him a quick $100. Just be like, hey, send this to PCA. Say this.
All right, man. Talk to everyone next week.
All right. See everybody next week.